planes. So let's just get it from the Yanks. Now we're down to 6, so we can't really build too much. Rhineland is remilitarized. We will do the liaison conference. And let's start actually setting up the armies. So I like to do it through here. Let's go by type. We're going to grab the 3 most important. Is that 6? And then we want to make sure that we grab the HoI Shidan, not the Kichi Kaihadan or the Kichi Shubutai. So that was 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So proper professionals, because there's a limit of 10 for the naval invasion planning. Now, I don't think they have anything special here. Rivers and forts, tricksters for reconnaissance, cavalry leaders, planning speed, maximum entrenchment, everything else. So we'll just go for the highest level. Then he's got attack and planning. So Tomoyuki with guerrilla fighter for entrenchment speed, because that'll be useful in America. Then we'll go Fortress Buster for the attack on forts, just in case we come across stuff. But what we then need to do is figure out which of these are actually going to be doing the work. So we'll go with a bit of a mix. We want the naval invasion order from one of these islands over to Hawaii. We want to land directly on here. So this is where it all comes down to what the players are doing. So what I usually do in single player campaigns is just get all of your army together, bring them off the islands, bring them from Africa, wherever else they are, so you have strong armies. But in multiplayer, you have to be cautious of this. So a multiplayer person often will leave the starting units on these playing as America. So you need to have as much of a chance to get in there as you can. Also depends on where the American fleet is, but that's a whole other issue. So yeah, for now, we give them that order, and then we want to try and conquer these relatively quickly. But we'll also set up the following naval invasion order over to the United States, particularly these 2 provinces here, followed by a grab for just the ports, really. So you want to probably manually handle that when the invasion is actually happening. We'll turn them on, and then that was the first 3. Next 3, we will do something similar, but it's a choice here between that island or the actual Philippine invasion. For this one, I'm going to worry more about America than the Philippines. So second naval invasion comes from this port, because it's closer. They will invade here, activate that. They look good. As soon as they win that, you'll back them up with another naval invasion, either directly on here or to something next door. So let's go this way, move them onto there, and then set up a naval invasion plan from here to, let's say, this side. Moving. Yeah, it's not going to let me do it. But some kind of naval invasion plan. I think it's because this is already set, but we'll deal with that after Hawaii is taken. Now, research slot, we need mechanical computing. Good few days before we need to worry about that. And next one we can do with 4 units. 1, 2, 3, 4. So these guys are going to do the naval invasion from Gaozhong directly onto Apari, because they never seem to defend this. And then they will, I mean, depends on whether you're going to manually handle this at all or not. I'm not, but you can set them a thing, or you can just let them sit in the port for later. They should be strong enough to handle the defense of the port if you got decent strength guys in there. And then it's all a choice about which other ports you're going to defend. So you can go around figuring out whether you want to like defend this one or not. So you might send a guy over there, or if you just want to rush all these guys into America, which is probably the better way of doing it. All right, liaison conference is done. Let's go. You know what, we'll sign the tripart. No, screw it. Greater East Asian Co-Prosperity Sphere. So yeah, if you want to play this risky, then what you do is grab everybody, at least in these main ones. You can leave the guys on the islands to discourage the Americans a little, but let's put them in a separate army under Tanaka. We never grabbed this guy either. Tarochi. Put naval invasions as the first group. And then grab the HoI Shadan. We will add them into that one. So this is a 24. We can boost him with Guerrilla Fighter at the moment, so may as well. What we're going to do first, though, is have them try to come up here. Didn't mean to go everywhere. Always forget about Manchukuo. So what we actually want to do is get them ready for the Russian thing. So you can do a thing against this, and one of the focuses, I think it is. Let's go grab our industry and started on improving our machine tools. So I can't remember exactly what Japan have to do to activate that. Is the testing the Russians. So you just put whoever in. I think you're pretty much guaranteed to lose it anyway because the Russians put tanks in. So it's just for army experience and stuff. Alright, they're ready, and they're ready. So we still need to sort out the fleet. Now, these guys in the Mariana region, we want to keep them kind of safe because we can't set them up on the western seaboard until we've conquered these islands. Insufficient resources, that's only a little bit of steel, that's fine. What we do need to do though is split some of this main fleet off. So we're just going to grab maybe, see, it's going to be annoying. Let's just go split and select and split and select these. So we've only got a quarter of the original fleet. Then we're going to do search and destroy just in the South China Sea. Then we can remerge, that's the wrong one. Remerge these guys. Then the main fleet is doing the search and destroy over there. So depending on what the American player does is whether that whole thing will work out or not. Alright, got a few days till we have to worry about too much. So we gave him one. These guys, I did merge the wrong one, didn't I? Alright, so it's 2 that's doing that. We'll give them Yamamoto. And then it was them and them. That should be merging. Okay, so navies are set, except for the little one that we'll send up there after something has been conquered. I think you have to take Hawaii. This one here doesn't matter too much, but it's good just to take anyway, because it's pretty much on the way. And if you get lucky, because this one gets attacked before that, you can draw this guy off if the Americans do have a fleet around there. They can think that they need to move him into Micronesia. It's more of an AI thing rather than a multiplayer thing, that though. Alright, tell everybody to start, particularly that one, make sure they're all good to go. So it is a lot slower. There's a lot more that you need to get through. Before they made the changes, I think it was Pearl Harbor was the second or third focus. So as Japan, you could just really blitz that. So I think that's why they've forced you to go through here. So you get, as the Allies in multiplayer, you get more warning before Japan start the war. Because they have made things a lot less fun recently, really. Alright, construction. Go for more construction. I know there are other things you can do as Japan to aid this a little better. Let's tell these guys to auto-join there. Alright, so we've got the co-prosperity sphere. Usually you'd want to go Marco Polo Bridge, but we're going to leave China alone. Is where people think that you're conspiring with China for not immediately attacking them. Now, logistics, we want the infantry expert. Now, this is where you have to choose what to spend political power on, because one of these is going to become available soon. So every 6 months you have to pick whether you're going to do these things as Japan. But steel for guns is the most important one. The rest is land doctrine and factory output, military factory construction speed, so you can prioritise that. Then you get the conscription, where is it, 2%? Yeah, recruitable population is 2% for doing that, which can be useful. I mean, if you can get through quickly and defeat America, then you don't really need a strong navy, because that's the main place that you use them. But again, it comes down to which multiplayer nations there are and things like that. And what exact rule set you have. So we're still just doing the typical rule set, so no non-focus wars before 39. So we will do this this focus war. So sticking with typical rules, that will usually still get you banned or blocked. So how many are we looking at? Another 3 after this. Yeah, so it takes a long time. We go up to speed 5, just because as Japan you don't really do a whole lot. There's no point sitting around here watching nothing happen. Alright, so the fleets are all good. What is the dude here doing? He's actually sitting offshore, so we probably want to bring him into a port at least. That's one there, isn't it? Yep. Supplies are fine. Decisions available. Yeah, so we're not going to do this because we're going to want to push through a chief of army for offense here. Oh, crap, he's only a specialist as well. Yeah, not going to do him. We would have waited for one of them. Otherwise, alright, there's a tripartite act. Excellent. They accept. We go strike south doctrine, which immediately lets everyone know because they're going to be looking at us after doing that last one and go, what's he doing? Oh, he's striking south. Oh, that bastard must be going to break the rules, which aren't rules, and he's going to attack the USA. At which point the USA player, if he's not a complete idiot, will just put his fleet here and block you from being able to do anything. And then you have to worry about him actually getting stuff done faster. So the alternative is not to attack them and to go through, bypass the Philippines and just attack all the mainland stuff, get an extra access to China from the Singapore area. You can just directly attack France and just do naval invasion here and then just sweep through China. Even a human player is China. If you've gone through France and you attack Guangxi Click, take this coast and just land people without having to do another naval invasion along here, or even just have half your army here, half your army up here, and just a couple of guys doing naval invasion in the middle. There's really no good way that even a human player can defend that as China. Unless you have a human Guangxi Click, because they are a pretty dangerous country. Alright, we join the Anti-Comintern Pact, go Non-Aggression Pact with the Soviets. Now, is that the one that gives us... No. It's not sure exactly how Japan get that extra decision. Alright, concentrate industry. We want radios. And it is start of 37. Alright, so we're going to go for factories. And modification of government. Right, we're going to go with Hitoshi Imamura. And then we can start thinking about grenade discharger. Alright, and some of these guys are starting to finish. So let's grab... yeah, we'll grab everybody that's there, put them in this one. They'll join this. They will need somebody offensive. Planning speed and stuff. Yeah, not so much. Let's just go with Nishio. And we want these guys just to stay here, because they're going to be the ones that head over to the US. Oh, I forgot to switch them as well. Soviet Union accepts the Non-Aggression Pact. And we will go secure the Philippines for this example. Decisions available. You know what, let's do the indiscriminate conscription, because we will have manpower issues before too long. Start knocking these up as fast as we can. We won't pop out the numbers until we actually get the naval invasion through. Get them as strong as we can before we head over. And towed artillery, we need to start knocking out. Alright, got our construction. Let's go for better infantry. And yeah, we're supposed to be grabbing the other guys in here to join there. And of course we can't keep adding them. Alright, they're fine there for now. We just keep pulling these guys off to create a new army. Alright, so let's drop back down to multiplayer speed. Promises of peace. No, forgot to turn these off at the start. Let's get rid of them. Test the, oh, that's what I was looking for. Alright, we'll test the Soviets really quickly. Just gives us extra army experience, and I think it's something else. You know what, we'll do it just with the cavalry, since we're going to lose it anyway. And bring these guys down to Pazan, so we can pull them out. Missing carrier fighters, that's okay. Alright, secure the Philippines. So at this point, everyone's going, what the hell are you doing? Oi, play properly. And we'll grab the alliance with Siam. Alright, so we're immediately going to declare this, because at this point, a human USA is wondering what the hell he should do. So here come the naval invasions. We've got 3 dockyards. Good, so the last ship just finished. Went to join the main fleet. Actually, I forgot. We were making some 2s, so we should have been adding them to the other fleet instead. We would have 9 ships instead of 6 in the other one. For now, though, I'm looking for, here, Kaidai. So we should have been adding them to Californian fleet. Yep, everything else there is fine. And we've already done the landing, so we could move these guys around and actually manually handle them to do stuff even easier. Let's just keep the pressure on a little. But I'm more worried about what is happening here. So I've already won this. They need to be automatically doing that. So again, depending on what human players do, anybody who's not a complete idiot would realise what we were doing, and they wouldn't let us take Pearl Harbor that quickly. Let's see exactly how stupid these guys want to be. Yeah, we'll wait for that, because these guys are about to land as well. Wait, hurry up, get in there. Alright, so that's done. So we'll start this one. Decisions available. We need to escalate the incident against the Soviets. So it just starts a little border war. Have a non-aggression pact with them anyway. Looks like we're going to win, but we're not. And these guys immediately came back, of course, because of that. Okay, but these 24 now have to worry about this fleet in here. So what we are going to do, I'll pause this to show, but usually you wouldn't be able to. These guys need to do just, not that one, search and destroy just in the western seaboard. And then you need to grab the main fleet and the other fleet that's off Taiwan. We want to try to group them up, but basically they need to search and destroy here and here. And then because we're going to have other troops coming over, we'll go for the West Emperor chain as well. So we'll leave them to that. Border conflict will be a loss because they reinforced, so there's no way to really win that. At least it is just them that are doing it. Which does mean, I guess, we can grab this slot, delete their orders, and then ship them off to the port properly. And here comes the naval invasion. Well, here come the boats to prepare the naval invasion. At the moment, these guys will be saying just they can't see enough along the way, but once the boats arrive, they'll be all good. Yunnan has joined the Chinese United Front. Alright, so now that these guys are in, we can actually turn this stuff on. Ace pilot promoted. Border conflict should be lost soon, so we'll get the extra divisions out. I can't remember what's the actual benefit of this. We're not going to end the conflict. We're not going to escalate the conflict. When this one ends, there we go. Defeated Lake Kazan. Army experience plus 25, which is fine. It's not huge, but it's better than nothing. Alright, resistance to occupation in America we want to deal with early. And this is the important bit, is how many boats we lose here and how quickly we can sink some of their stuff. Because we need to back up some of these guys, potentially. West Emperor Chain and Midway. Should be good. So again, human player would put a fleet here. There's no other way, really, to think about this. If you don't do that, then you're asking to be invaded. And those guys should rejoin that army. Okay, so we've landed unopposed. We'll just push everyone into Los Angeles for the moment so that I can bring these guys over. And let's just have a proper read of these. So, Siam has come in. Set our differences aside. Leadership purges in the Soviet Union. We have our alliance. Concentrated industry. So, at this point, usually we would want to guide the Zaibatsus for some civilian factories, and then you can nationalize war industry and all the rest of it. The research slot, it is 37, so armor would probably be good. Hagor, I like doing them as Japan. Alright, we'll drop this down to speed 3 for a bit. So, they are looking quite happy now. What we're going to do with these guys is set them to aggressive. And then we're just going to put the actual... You know what, forget that. We're going to delete this order. Delete their order. Bring everybody over. And you need to take a lot of land to make America capitulate, so we'll just run this. Now, it is a little dangerous doing this before everybody else has arrived. And yes, we're on there, so now we need to knock all of these guys out, which should give us at least a few. Alright, 18. Add them on under Ueda, and we'll give them maybe just the coastal bit, and they can come spreading up towards Seattle. But then that lets us auto add them onto there. Okay, so a lot of these guys will be weak, but we just need the actual numbers, because America doesn't have a whole lot of men at this point. And the faster we can get out, the thinner their armies are spread. So we do want to make sure that we've got as many of these ports as we can get as early as we can. So I'm going to rush this guy all the way up. We will take these before we head around to grab that. And then if he somehow makes it that far, he'll keep just going across the Canadian border. So 14% world tension. It's not too bad. Biggest problem now is whether his fleet is going to stop our transports getting in. So this roundabout path they're taking should bypass most of them. But let's grab... Why do we even have... It's fine. I think they didn't manage to join together before. So we'll group them up. We could group everyone into a single fleet now, couldn't we? Alright, let's stop everybody. Then we'll put them on search and destroy. Alright, they were repairing. We'll go Western Seaboard and basically the North Pacific, try and defend this part, because the Americans, I assume, would focus around there if they realise that's where we're coming from. Alright, they're going to need some help taking San Francisco. He is actually being annoying. Alright, let's do something like that. And yeah, you can see how spread out we are already. We're going to have trouble stopping them from taking bits and pieces unless everybody else hurries up and gets over here. Well, they are doing their best. That's another reason that you can get them closer when you start the war, so they're already here, and then they'll just come through and be in a lot quicker. Alright, so he's got more troops coming down there. Let's grab this guy. Alright, Americans are losing convoys. That's a good sign. Americans have Soviet volunteers. He sent 8 volunteers. Alright. Let's just say LA's fallen. They're a bit late. Alright, now the dockyards. We're making subs. We will also make maybe light cruisers. No, just go destroyers. Bubuki. Add to the main fleet would be just fine. These guys are supposed to be grouping up. Alright, still green, but now we're getting surrounded, and it is very dangerous how these guys are. So we need the rest to actually arrive a lot faster than they are. At least we got port in San Francisco. Don't know if they redirect automatically if the port they're heading for gets taken. Alright, didn't manage to win that one. And he's taken LA, you bastard. Let's get down there. Do they go home first? No, they do automatically redirect. Alright, now we're in there. So we'll take LA, then we'll head down to the other port. He's doing it as well, it's fine. You shouldn't be attacking in mountains, just come down here. Just want to try and get over here as quickly as we can, particularly with a tank. If you can just get them to break through to force the Americans to make mistakes with their handling of the situation. But now we start getting our men in. Shouldn't be too much of a problem there for a while. Going to keep pulling numbers across as we get them. Alright, Mountaineers versus Marines. Could be interesting. Yeah, let's hold him off. He can just come down and widen this. They apparently don't think they have an order. And I would find... Oh, they're trying to get over here. Fair enough. Let's just delete this. This tank needs to stop and try and survive long enough for us to get reinforcements over there. Of course, the thing is, that's not actually a proper tank division. It's just a army with a single tank in there, I think. 2 tanks, but horribly slow. Now, supplies are a little weak, so we need to push out quickly. Most of these guys are getting up nicely now, though. As you see, everything here should start turning green as the rest of these get their organisation up. But the problem with the organisation will be this. So we'll build this. I'm holding down Shift and Control to put this to the top of the queue to get the naval stuff done. Actually, then held it down when I shouldn't. Get the port done quickly so we can ship more supplies over from Japan. And pop out a few more of these. How to find valid path to target. That seems like a lie at this point. Just tell them to wander over there. Alright, so you can see it's starting to turn green. We'll go up to speed 5. Screw it. Alright, so we lost that tank division. But we can start annoying the American player. So, national focus. Requires national mobilization war. So this gives us war economy, which is why, as Japan, you don't want to pay for this yourself, because you get it as part of the focus. Alright, then once it gets up here, we'll go all the way up, then we'll sweep back around, and we'll take this port, take the town next to it, and just continue down, try and get the Soviets out of there, and just finish off this general mess. But yeah, because the Americans don't have the industry to build this up, they've only got 7 military factories, there's really no way that they can stop you once you get that landing. So as an American player, to defend against this in multiplayer, you really just have to put your entire fleet over here just to stop the Japanese from getting the toehold, because that's the only place they can do it. And with modifying government, let's grab the... I already did all the army there. I need this one. Division attack. Haven't done the army expansion. Recovery rate, actually. Alright, so I've taken nearly the entire west coast. Might lose this guy. But at this point, everybody who isn't already should be aggressive, because it's more about not wanting to micromanage everything. And the biggest difference with aggressive is they take undefended borders a lot faster. Alright, then we'll do paratroopers or stuff. Let's just start worrying about signal companies. Alright, and that puts us a little further over than I wanted. We'll grab 1, 2, 3, 4 of them to join over there. Do votes really change anything? Italy's claimed some stuff. Our dude is wounded. We will nationalise our war industry now. So we are automatically on war economy, which is what we would have chosen for ourselves. And it doesn't want to let me move. Alright, that's better. There we go. So we're going to go this, just so we can focus on what we're doing in America. You can see how far we've pushed through already, and it's not even the end of 37. So what we should do... Alright, I'll pause it just to show this so that it doesn't jump around as much. We want to look for all the major cities. So you zoom in far enough to read the victory points on here. So this is worth 3, then that's worth 5. We'll do it from different directions just in case he has somebody there. This guy is going to go through Missouri for the 10. He's going to sweep through Wisconsin back to Illinois. And then this guy is going to do the same thing, but the other direction. We're going to grab 2 from here to rush through automatically there. Go for these 10. We want to grab these 5 on the way to those. These guys will move straight out. Come up through the 3. We were doing that 5, so let's just go to these 5, those 10, and we'll set these up a little more to go this way. And then the bigger group, can't remember if any, yeah, there we go. We go for these 10, and then you start looking at the coastal towns. So we'll go there, we'll take Washington, New York, and then head up to New England, and by then they should have well and truly capitulated. So at this point they're on 41.1%, which means that we need to take 75, well, yeah, have to take 75% of their victory points. But if we have a look at how this is shaped out, we take every major city. So if these guys get through, which looks like they should because they would have put everybody on this front line, then it shouldn't take too long. And at this point you can start thinking about whether you need a navy or not. Special forces capacity or land doctrine research. Yeah, see, it brings factory output down, so I'd rather just stick with the army stuff. Alright, these guys are finding their way where they need to be, so they haven't actually taken that port yet. Mostly because of the Soviet divisions in there. Alright, so you can see this has worked pretty well. We won't redirect them, we'll just let them, you know what, screw it, we'll redirect these guys. So these ones you need to run through 5, 10, 15, and then down to Washington, Philadelphia, New York, and Boston. And that research is for, well again, I like pushing this, but it's way too far ahead of time. You don't get any bonuses for tanks as Japan. So we'll go the maintenance companies. Alright, Austria has been Anschlussed, so they're at the 25%. We'll go for our extra research slot now. Otherwise, wait, there we go. Ah. Reset. So we don't get to do anything with the Philippines, didn't actually keep an eye on them. They must have kicked us off the island. But we do get to just take all states from them. So again, depends on how good the US player is trying to do this in multiplayer. We do want to satellite the Philippines, which means we'll reset this. We'll end our turn there and then just take all states, which we still can't do. Reset. Pass. Take all states is now available. The thing is, you might want their fleet on your side, so let's assume we'd want them over here somewhere. Take that off. I mean, they need something coastal. What's the worst province? Probably Georgia. Alright. So, puppet them in Georgia. End this here. Done. And coal liquefaction. Yeah, so we could worry about that stuff now. At this point, if they still haven't banned you from the server, then what would we do? Well, we would have the Free American Empire with 88 boats added to our 155 who survived. Let's go and group these guys up. And let's bring them back for some repairs in Hiroshima. Alright, there is no resistant occupation. Let's bring us down speed 3 to actually think about it. Gun up Philippines was puppeted, so you have to make sure that you puppet them, otherwise they just stay free. Much better off taking them first in that peace deal. We have a bunch of free dockyards, so let's think about light cruisers, and we'll get the battleships sorted out eventually. Of course, everyone wants to join the main fleet. Marianas and West Emperors. So I don't know if they're actually merging or not. Yes, looks like they just did. Alright, so enable automatic split off. We'll just tell them to go and repair now. Decisions available. Now we can develop production. It's aluminium for all of them. We don't need aluminium, so there's no point spending the points on it. We do still need rubber. We have unassigned divisions. Soviet Union have cancelled the non-aggression pact. So this is where you decide whether you're going to go to war with China or with the Soviet Union. We'll put them on there, but we'll go do the Chinese war now. So, no, we're not doing them. Unassigned, right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we'll add them to a new one, except for maybe this guy can go and join that army. Itagaki. Alright, so that's the 5th army. 42. Let's keep adding these until... Nah, that's fine, because we need more there. Alright, now... put these guys on this side. Just with an order to take Beijing. And we'll leave these guys... You know, we've got Siam, we don't have France. And world tension is well and truly high enough after the Treaty of Dallas. So the Allies will be a thing, so we don't want to declare war on France. Which means we can't use Siam against them. But we can still do some good naval invasions. First thing will be... go to southern China. You know what, screw it, we'll just go straight to eastern China with everybody. And it was these guys. So we've got 1, 2, 3... Let's just do it with 10. These 10 will prepare the naval invasion from here this time to this province, taking Hangzhou and the rest of this stuff around Shanghai. Put them on there, we activate it, and then we can throw everybody down there right before the war starts. Insufficient rubber, doesn't matter, got 1 million manpower, it's pretty good. Let's go up to speed 4. Now, what repairs are actually needed? Don't know that anybody's actually repairing. Or is it this one? I always look at the wrong one. Strength, that's organisation, yeah. So there are a few of the battleships that need to be repaired. Let's have a look. Yuzhou didn't manage to sink anything. Sunk 3 enemy ships, 1 enemy ship, 7 enemy ships. So the Haruna did some good work. Sinking destroyers and a heavy cruiser. Arizona was sunk. That was the assist. Alright. It's be nice if America knew they were supposed to bring their boats over here, but we'll let him sort himself out. He's going for special services. Yeah, screws with what they're allowed to do a little. Alright, so yeah, we'd avoid war with the Allies as long as possible. Take over China, then maybe attack the Soviet Union, depending on what Germany player does. You let them maybe convince them to attack the Soviets instead of attacking France. See, Spanish Civil War is still raging. We could send volunteers over there. got a 6 limit, so he could do quite a bit of damage, but screw him.